Okay, so it's day 2 of me giving up control and the need to fix, which is basically me not giving into trauma responses and OCD compulsions, behaviors, and a lot of my stuff is mental, but not, I guess. It's, my personality is basically a kind of a trauma response. Not my entire personality, I guess, but a lot of, or just what I do, just like, it feels almost every action that I do a lot of the time is, or my, what I say, what I choose to say, and how I am, it's out of a trauma response, or like I do something, I myself, and then I start to fix something about that. So I start to over explain, and yeah, I just get anxiety and stress in my body. So I started to basically, yesterday was when I really just stepped into surrendering, doing all that. But there's obviously still a lot of controlling and fixing going on, you know, and also behind the scenes. So for instance, when I got the idea to film again today, I just started planning stuff out in my head of what to do and say, and then I tried not to do that. And then I had thoughts about, if I do that thing that I guess to other people maybe looks spontaneous, but I actually had an idea to do that and planned that out in my head ahead of time, that there's something bad about that or wrong about that, or I was having thoughts that if I do that thing that I pre-planned, or like say that thing or whatever, that after I do that, then I have to explain, I have to divulge that I pre-planned that, or I just knew I would have like such an urge to be like, yeah, that wasn't actually spontaneous, I was like pre-planned in my head, and I was like, oh, I'm just gonna bust out into this song, or whatever my little thought was. I guess I could say, God, I just started to really live out how this would go, and it's different than how it's going, but that's fine. But I was having these thoughts about it, and but we're gonna try and be present. So I thought I would set a timer again. So yesterday I set a timer for 10 minutes, and then I spent the 10 minutes just trying to not control anything or fixing it, just like to be in my body. Today I just feel like rushed to do 10 minutes, because yesterday was a 30-minute video, so I thought of setting a timer for 20 minutes just to give me some type of a structure of just, I don't know, to have a focused amount of time of yeah, I'm just dissociating because I'm having thoughts about explaining everything. Like, everything is just judged and analyzed, and it's like there's times where it's, I don't want to like over explain or whatever out of trauma response, but obviously there's times where I want to explain to the people, why I'm doing something. But then there's this perfectionism thing that, just happened in my head, where it's like, is this you explaining out of trauma response right now? Is that what you're doing, explaining like why you're setting the timer for 20 minutes? Is that a trauma response thing? There's also, okay, there's a big thing that I've realized that's so automatic, is the need to also, well, I guess it's not really, it keeps bugging me until I say it sometimes. There's like this urge, I just, I guess I was just trying to go with what was happening because I just couldn't focus on what I was even doing anymore. Like, that just took over. That thought of, are you doing this out of a trauma response now? Like, that took over. And so then I don't know. I guess what I'm doing here is I do want to share the internal dialogue because I feel like it can be helpful for people. And yeah, I know when I see stuff that talks about the, like, what actually goes on instead of just solutions, like people talking about intrusive thoughts, having intrusive thoughts. I'm not going to start the timer. I don't give a fuck about the timer right now. I'm do what I want to do. So we're not going to do the timer right now. I had planned that out, right? I had planned out this 20-minute timer. And then I guess internally it was like, okay, we got to do the timer now. We got to do the... We don't have to do anything. We're just existing. I wanted to talk about intrusive thoughts. So I'm choosing to not let them run my life anymore. And I get a lot of intrusive thoughts about doing this, and specifically about letting go of control. And I was just really tapping into this, like, surrendering energy yesterday after I did the last live. And then when I really think of, like, fully letting go, I get intrusive thoughts that I'm going to say just horrific things, and then I'm gonna be abandoned forever, and that's gonna be it. And so there's this need to hold on to control because I feel like I will be so out of control or I'll go crazy. But I had a realization that the having to be in control is actually such a lack of control, because I'm being run by and taken over by these trauma responses. Like, it's very interesting, the irony of the whole thing. And yeah, there's a lot of holding my breath when I talk. And this shoulder, I really feel the left shoulder. It's, that's a protective thing my body does, I guess, when I don't feel comfortable in my body and safe. I lift this shoulder, and I sort of put my arm, it's not always like a full covering my stomach or the side of my body, or like leaning away, but there's like, it just, the shoulder wants to do a thing. That's a protective thing right there. That's a thing that's trying to keep me safe. And it's just like this automatic thing that happens, that I've been aware of this shoulder for quite a while. And a counselor we worked through that with my, there's just now this need to explain, because I've talked about, like, not having the best experience with my last counselor. There's a need to explain now, because I've, like, talked in past videos about not a great experience. There's a need to be like, well, we had good moments too, and, you know, this was one of those things that I really resonated with. I don't know, it's like, I don't fucking even know if I want to say that or have to fucking explain. I don't have to explain that, but, like, I don't know what I actually want to say. Like, to add context to, or to just let people in on, just to not, I guess I'm very overly concerned about the other people and how they're understanding everything. And so it's like, I guess it doesn't matter which counselor it even was, but I guess it's like, you know, I have a brand new counselor again. This is me. Okay, now we're on this tangent of this, like, that is completely irrelevant to the whole thing. One time, and I'm uncalm in my body again. Like that. So that shit happens constantly. And I'm just going, I will talk about, okay, God. Also ADHD. I do want to just finish the little thing about like what the counselor had said about what this movement maybe came from. And then I will, if I remember, go into this other tangent that I was going to go on. So this basically just, there was some experiences I had as a kid and all that. And basically I was in a car with a person that would, I think this happened often. I felt pretty trapped in a car with a person that was screaming at me and insulting me, and like just like it was not fun. And I was always in the passenger seat, and I think my body language was like trying to fucking get away. I remember one time they were like, you know what, you can walk home. And I'm like, okay, thank God. I would love to actually get out of this fucking vehicle. So then there was a threat of me to walk home, but I actually wanted to. So then she was like, yeah, I'm serious, or something like that. She pulled over on the side of the road, and I go to get out of the car, and then she's like, no, you get back in the car. And then she started, I think, taking away certain privileges or something of it. Like I just didn't have the boldness to walk home. But yeah, one time I felt almost free from having to listen to the stuff. Like I just couldn't it was very loud and I just like didn't want to be around it, and I was trapped in the car. And so yeah, passenger seat, and I think that I was doing this shit, and that is trapped in my body. It's like a response that I do when, yeah, I guess I'm feeling unsafe. So I do the gaslighting to myself now. I do the gaslighting to myself in my head automatically. I just held my breath. So when I'm talking, even just, I guess I'm broadcasting this to the interwebs, but I'm literally just talking. I'm not even talking to an actual person, really. I guess there's a perception right now. Yeah, I am. This is going out to people to perceive. So it is triggering, and I say things, and then I have these triggers, and then it's Lord Farquaad energy in my head. Yesterday I talked about an archetype of like a pompous little British person, you got to be proper. That was not the right way to say that. That wasn't a proper word. That was like, okay, so I realized I was like trying to figure out exactly what the archetype was, a character that I could use for the energy, because I also was worried of like shitting on British people, because I just started off saying like, oh, a proper British person, which who gives a fuck too. There's a trigger there in like offending the British people when I'm talking about a specific type of just like stuck up personality, whatever, and the fact that they happen to be British. In today's society, there's just like extra stuff that I get the triggers because of the cancel culture vibe of everything. It's like I wouldn't have cared years ago about different things that I say, as much in that sort of way, although I've always had after being raised by a certain person that was like seemed to be offended by a lot of just me being myself, I've had this thing of like just very, I don't want to risk offending people, but then again, I've done controversial shit that very much offended people, but I felt very passionately about that in my soul, so I was just like, this feels true to me. But Lord Farquaad. So, and I researched, and it's hard to distinguish what is trauma response as well. Like, I do overanalyze myself as well, to where it's like, what is, well, I just, the energy's different between just like doing basic research on, I didn't even know how to, I haven't watched Shrek forever, so, I didn't even, who cares that I didn't explain that, but I'm sure people can look it up, who Lord Farquaad is, the character from Shrek, who is the king, and is just, just this petty proper. I was actually going to do more research and watch clips, and then I didn't, because I'm like, is this exactly the archetype that I really mean? Like, it needs to have these qualities. Yeah, so I researched, I was like stressed though about getting the name wrong. Like, it was such a thing. Like, I think I rechecked or something. Like, I asked ChatGPT about, you know, I thought it was Lord Farquaad, and like Q-U-O, like a French sort of spelled word, and it's actually spelled Lord Farquaad. And then I think I double checked that. So there was like stress about when if I ended up mentioning it in the video of this character that lives inside my head, that's judging everything I do. I had actual stress about getting it wrong and saying it wrong. So yeah, it's just hard to, and this shoulder, there's just like such tension right now in my body. This is not how I like lived it in my head and planned. In my head, I was like breaking free from all these, like I was like truly free, and I was singing, and I was singing Breaking Free from High School Musical. I was going, we're soaring, we're flying, there's not a star in heaven that we can't reach. If we're trying, yeah, we're breaking free. I was doing that, and I guess I just did it now, so we did it. And but I'm not feeling that. I'm feeling this fucking shoulder tense as fuck. Tense, because it doesn't want to let go. It does not want to let go, because it thinks I'm going to get really abandoned. And you know what? I just don't want to, I don't want to need people to like me anymore. I really don't want people, I don't want to I don't want to require people to like me. Yeah, I had a thought pop in my head. So, okay. So after my last live, I didn't watch that video back and then critique the shit out of it, but I did start, this happens like every time, I started remembering things I did, things I said. Oh, wait, sorry. Wrong thing. Okay, no. The video before the last live, what one was that? It was like, if you live in a trauma response, this is your vent sesh. So that video, I watched that back, and then I cringed at how many times I was doing that. And then I have allergies and the weather's cold, but I just had a thought or realization that or an understanding that I think that was a tick, or like when I watched it back in the video, I was trying to figure out if it was a tick thing or 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 just truly my allergies were really acting up throughout the video that I was sniffing like that frequently. And I'm letting go of judgment of that thing and everything. It's like it's just sad when I view that and I have these like icky feelings in my body about myself, and then I'm like, oh, they're gonna think I'm on cocaine, and so fucking what. If someone also thought, because I was sniffing a lot in my video, like every minute, you know, I'm like, you know, and if someone thought that I was on cocaine and then they commented trying to shame me, that's why the fuck are you shaming people who are doing drugs? And like, it just makes no sense to me at all. And so it's like, why do I even fucking care? Do I really fucking care? It's because I have shame about those tics. A comment that sticks in my head from a live that I did when I had the comments on, was someone pointing out the amount of times that I say the word like. And when they were like, oh, you just said like about maybe 50 times or something, or 20 times just now. And I was like, yeah, I did. It's a tick. I don't, they said, why did you say it or something? They're actually asking me, I think. So I was like, yeah, it's a tick. I don't know. It's because it's a tick because I have to fill the space because I don't feel confident in what I'm saying. And I don't really know for sure because I'm trying to be I'm kind of more present. But I do feel like this video, I haven't had a lot of sniffs. I haven't said the word like as a tick. And if I did, it's fine. That's the thing, is that's not the point of it. So it's hard for me to heal my nervous system when it becomes Lord Farquaad trying to heal my nervous system and shaming me that I have a fucked up nervous system in the first place. And like, you shouldn't have sniffed so many times in the video. That's annoying. That's annoying for people. Because there's a big thing about trying to be something perfect and not annoying and not ticky for other people. There's something about me abandoning my own self to be like, what can I be for you to be accepted and loved and okay in your eyes? And I am tired of living life like that. I'm so tired of it. And frankly, this shoulder is fucking tired of it. It's not, it could be a lot worse, and I've learned to purposely relax that shoulder, and it's a soreness. It's not like an actual pain, but it does get sore. If I sit in a chair, it starts to really act up. So if I ever edit, which I don't do a lot of lately, if I sit at a desk in a chair, this shoulder starts to get really, really fucked up. So I edit on a couch a lot of the time. But it's just like stuck. There's this Indian movie called Pushpa, and the character in it has a fucked up shoulder like me. I so relate to him. The character, his name's Pushpa. They make it known in the film that he's got this shoulder issue. Like, his one shoulder is really up like this, and they have a scene in the movie that is basically looks like childhood trauma. I can't even fully remember how this scene exactly went. There's like trauma with his dad And so there's this scene where something happens when he was a kid, and then immediately after this interaction or this like event happening, they show him as a kid, like this shoulder just like going up like that, and then it stays there, and it just seems like they're showing a stored trauma in his body, you know. And yeah, my shoulder's fucked. So in the sense that it's like, instead of letting go, my body's taking over, like that shoulder's trying to take over and protect. And I just was like, hey bud, I'm okay, I don't need you to try and take over, right? I don't need yeah, it's a very interesting thing, guys, when your body, to be a consciousness in a body that has its own consciousness, aka the subconscious, to be like two separate things, you know. The body keeps the score, you know. That's I think it's a Peter Levine book. That's the guy that, I could be getting this wrong, but I know he wrote Awakening the Tiger, but I thought he also wrote The Body Keeps the Score, but it could have been someone else. But anyways, the guy I'm thinking of is Peter Levine, who he created somatic experiencing therapy. Just me right now with both shoulders like which is fine, you know. It's like, I think I'm cold. I'm just cold, and that is why I'm fucking doing this, is because I'm cold. But the body just takes over, you know, because it's trying to survive. And Peter Levine developed somatic experiencing therapy, which I am basically kind of like, I'm doing a form of that when I'm doing these videos. And it's about reintegrating it's about letting that body experience and process the trauma that was not processed through the body. So I just held my breath. So what I feel a lot of therapy gets what I want to say. So other therapy, the missing piece I feel to the other therapy, or what can keep people stuck with other therapy that's not this body. I was just aware of my sniff. It's okay, I sniffed. It's just weird for me to be aware of what my body's doing, right? Because I have been disconnected. So it's like interesting to be aware that I did that thing and not be dissociated from my body. So what was I gonna say? So other therapy, the missing piece is the body part, the body connection at times. Other therapies do incorporate that. So dialectical behavior therapy, which I've done, there is this is like, you know, mindfulness stuff is definitely a thing in a lot of therapy. But I find that the other therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy, well, that one's cognition. That's, to me, kind of associated with your thoughts or your head. Or there's a lot of, with these therapies, work still in the head and with the thoughts. And I know cognitive behavioral therapy for me and my OCD, the cognitive behavioral therapy, it makes it so much worse because it's just continuing to think about it. You know, I just can't get over this example. It's cemented in my head, this sort of template of this cognitive behavioral therapy exercise that I don't even know where I got. I might have been researching it myself when I was a kid and trying to fix my brain, but just there was like this worksheet I remember, and I was just aware of me saying the word like. So just hold my breath. There was this worksheet for cognitive behavioral therapy and exercise, and it was for social anxiety, and it was asking you to write out the event that you were scared of going to, and then it asked something like how many, so okay, for example, say it was, I'm scared I'm going to humiliate myself and just look like a total idiot in front of these people. You know, I'm gonna go bright red and I'm going to be embarrassed. My stomach just rumbled. I am hungry, and yes, I am hungry. I'm in touch with my body being hungry right now. So, the exercise, the worksheet, so it was saying, how likely is this event gonna happen? Excuse me. So they write out the event. Oh, I'm scared it's gonna happen. And then it goes through these questions of how many times has this happened? Excuse me. How likely is this gonna happen? Blah, 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 blah. It's trying to, it's basically a nightmare for people with OCD, because that's just what we're constantly doing in our head, is like, is that really gonna happen? Okay, maybe it's not. And you know, and there's you can have OCD and you can have only thought compulsions. It's called pure OCD. You can just have compulsions in your head, or you can have both, or yeah. So that the cognitive behavioral therapy just caused me to do more compulsions in my head and keep thinking of, like, it's trying to process it. It's just the body doesn't fucking give a shit. The trauma. Okay, maybe that certain types of social anxiety, maybe there are certain types, I think, that are more mild, or it's a different thing. It's not as trauma based, and it's more so I don't know, it can be helpful, those exercises, for people that are dealing with something. Okay, these are the people maybe that stuff helps with, is the people that I'm just like paranoid that for some reason it's not working. For some reason the sound's not working, even though it should be. I checked multiple times that Bluetooth was off on the phone, because if it connects to my car, then the sound mic switches and then it like, I'm paranoid, but I'm gonna trust that this is not glitching. Okay. The people that I think, okay, I'm not gonna fucking lie. I looked up and I saw it. I just hate that I have to look at how many likes I currently have and how many people are actively watching me. I just have a hard time, to be completely honest and vulnerable. I have a hard time not being triggered by that, even though I know. And I don't want, I want to be free from caring about any of that shit at all. It's just, there's judgments about the stats that is in my face. Like, YouTube, could you just not? Because I have the cameras on selfie mode. Maybe I can. Okay, yeah, I wasn't looking at it, and then it caught my eye. I was like zoned out, so I'm gonna zone out again. Okay, I'm gonna tune out. I'm going to get present again. So I was talking about the social anxiety and cognitive behavioral therapy exercises that are talking about, it's rationalizing it. It's rationalizing the thoughts and the fears and how likely is this actually going to happen? How many times has this happened before? And I think it can help. The people I'm thinking it maybe helps are the people who get this anticipatory social anxiety, but when they go to the event, they're fucking kind of fine. They're just chill. It's like, it's just this I don't feel that way at all. Sometimes I have. Okay. I will go to the event. Okay, I tried just doing that type of kind of therapy, of exposure therapy in that type of way, the social situations. And so I'd go to the event and like 2 hours later just still felt very unsafe and just never calmed down. So I just was holding my breath. Oh my god, this car is getting cold. I kind of want to turn it on. I hope my phone doesn't fall off the steering wheel when I do this. Okay. Oh no, is there gonna be such a rattle now? There's probably gonna be such a rattle. I don't want the people to have to hear that annoying rattle. I'm gonna tough it out, okay? I could film these in my house, but I like being in the outside when I do this. So, what was I saying? Okay, OCD, social anxiety. My social anxiety is very much of an OCD nature. It's OCD. It's like, it's social OCD. So, and I feel that shoulder. So, okay, I want to go back to somatic. Yeah, okay, we were talking about, I was comparing somatic experiencing therapy to cognitive behavioral therapies and other therapies. And I was talking about what the other therapy, the missing piece of it all. I feel like the body needs to be accessed. The trauma within the body, like it's non-accessible in these other therapies sometimes, or it's hard to get there, and also, if it's not a thought thing, if it's a bodily thing, if it's a subconscious, like, you can rationalize as much as you want. You can that's what I've been doing for years, and there's been a certain level of my anxiety stuff getting better over the years, or just more tolerable. I held my breath, and then I was just thinking of, was it more tolerable? It's always, when it's there, it's always, kind of until now, it's always like been, no, there's been a change into the degree of fear, but then again, I just didn't have the triggers that were causing that insane amount of fear. So for instance, when the anxiety and panic was at its most intense, it was when I was in high school, and then when I worked a job that wasn't YouTube stuff. So when I felt very trapped because I was around people, and I couldn't I don't know, I guess I could have just not finished high school. I could just like ditched and be like, I'm out, or just like, I refuse to go, I'm not. There was a job that was just like, it was sheer terror and panic the whole time. I would count every minute sometimes on the clock down. Like I'd watch the clock tick and then be like, okay, you know, like 7 more hours. Okay, 7.5 more hours. Okay, 6 more hours. And my body was in just a constant state of extreme fight or flight. And that job, that was Wendy's when I was 15 years old, and I just, I just didn't show up for a shift because I was also I just, like, my body couldn't even call in to not go. I just didn't go. So, but then they didn't fire me, but they were like, you can't just do that. And then I think I just did ultimately stop going. I just, like, fucking, the body keeps the score, people. I, kept trying just not to be. Some stomach is hungry, but I want to keep sharing these insights. I tried, yeah, I've tried so fucking hard not to be, like, fucked up, and it's, like, for other people, not even for myself, and it's really sad. It's really sad. So, yeah, if anyone else out there is feeling like you gotta be a certain way for other people, it's just, you get to be triggered in your body. Like, you can't help it. You cannot control it. It's you can't. Okay, it's just, it was hard because I was pretty heavily shamed at times for my body doing something that I had no control over, that it's not even wrong. Like, my body's healthy as fuck because it's trying to keep me safe. It's like, it's okay, I'm safe, whatever, but it, yeah, unless that stuff's processed and, you know, that energy has been transmuted, and that energy that it's allowed to just even be there and exist and come up, like, until that happens, it's not, I feel like you are gonna feel stuck. And, you know, that's where therapy, okay, and I'm in therapy, but I'm talking about, I'm talking about therapy culture. I'm talking about, I'm talking about okay, we've made strides. We have made huge strides. Shit was a lot different back when I was growing up. I'm 30 years old, and we weren't really talking about mental health much at all, or it was very stigmatized, like, negatively when I was pretty young, and a lot of shame. So that's, we're getting past that, but like, I feel like we're stuck in this hole of these people. There is something wrong with them. They need to be fixed. This is coming from someone, though, where I was like, there's a version of, like, no, you don't understand, something's wrong. You know, I was told, you're fine, whatever, nothing's happening, or you're just, you know, you're probably just getting PMS or on your period. It was like, what is going on with me? Am I bipolar? Am I, like, I am having, like, my body was freaking the fuck out, and you know, just, it was basically CPTSD stuff going on in my body. But and so and it's like, oh, you're fine, no, nothing's wrong with you. So there's this, like, there's like two, I don't know, I haven't had these types of I haven't really thought about it fully in this way maybe before. So bear with me. But okay, because it's hard because it's like, okay, no, something is wrong. Like, something's wrong. I don't feel safe. Something's wrong. So there's that type of, something's wrong. But then there's a difference between that and something's wrong with the person. Something's wrong with, like, yeah, something's wrong with the person and their body. Oh, this is a full-on disorder in that there's something very wrong here going on with you, and your brain chemicals are all this way or that way and whatever. And it's like, yeah, there is truth to, okay, body is traumatized. It's having these responses. It's not, oh man, I don't even know what my battery's at. This could just die. But the body, it's having, okay, where were we? There's this whole thing about trying to make it this, just like you have this predisposition, you have this brain and you have this predisposition and all that stuff and genetics and everything. And I believe and I feel like there is a lot of it, if not most, if not all in some type of way, is trauma-based. And so the therapy culture, the culture I'm speaking of, that I have fallen into, like trying to fix it, it's like, yeah, no, I don't want to live in fear constantly, obviously, and I want to be able to be my authentic self and not dim my light out of the fear and the people pleasing and the anxiety and the stress and whatever. But it's a real, genuine fear. And okay, so I just feel like there's a form of almost gaslighting in a way with this it is the medical establishment's current consensus and treatment strategies of mental health stuff. And I don't know, it's probably why I get I've just had not the best experiences as well. And I get such an ick, and I just like, I truly, I believe medication does help people. It helps those symptoms for sure. Like, how can it not? For me, it was not the right thing for me and landed me in the hospital. So not for me. But I have people very close to me that benefit from these medications, from these psychiatric medications. But I feel like, okay, there's a missing piece it's like, oh, we got to fix your brain. We got to stop those things from happening, which I get because the person's like in turmoil, and it's like, make it stop. Like I went on a few different medications throughout my life. I had tried them out of that desperation. I cannot live like this. I cannot fucking live like this. It is very hard to live like that when you are not, when there is this culture of like aversion to, for one thing, it's very valid. I feel, for me, it's very valid that I don't feel safe, that I haven't until this point. I have not felt safe to be present in my body and to not trauma response my way out of it, and to be imperfect, to not keep up properly with the conversation, I feel like in this cult, like, people, we do kind of fear this realness at times, that like people being in touch with their bodies. It's I don't know, I want to have more I want to think more, I want to ponder more about this and really get to the root of what I feel is going on in this society. But I am hungry and I want to go eat, and yeah, I get very passionate about this stuff because I feel for the people, because I've been through it. I've fucking I go through it. I've been through it, and I'm tired. I'm tired of the understanding of what's really going on, not being there. And I no fucking wonder these people, the establishment, the just like I was in the system at a certain point in time where I got some therapy through a clinic, or I was in the hospital. I had a psychiatrist. She wanted to medicate me. She wanted to just give me more medication. Like, an antidepressant caused me to land in my, I ended up in the hospital. I had a bad reaction. And then she said, yeah, we think I got diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. And then she was saying, yeah, she said, I think you might also have bipolar because of how you reacted to that medication, because it's like common to have this bad reaction. You might have, it's like, yeah, or I could have just had a bad reaction and not have to have bipolar. Like, I get these people who are just trying to help, and this is just what they know and how they treat, but she's like, you're always gonna have this. She wasn't even pushy. She was actually, I felt good energy from her. I felt very, very lucky. I had heard not great vibes going on with like other patients and their psychiatrists, so she seemed to be it was whatever, but she's like, well, she was trying to kind of like encourage me to not give up on the meds, but it's like, give me a fucking chance. Like, I need to sort myself out. Like, why would I, she wanted to then give me an antidepressant and a mood stabilizer, even though that antidepressant caused me to go kind of hypermanic. Like, I harmed myself. Like, I put my fucking health very much at risk and life. And it's like, she's like, well, you're gonna just like based on that, based on the genetic. She didn't say that outward, the genetic. I knew she had the belief of it, like, my brain's always gonna be this way. Like, I just have this anxious brain thing, and it's like they're just trying to fix that, but it's actually fucking normal ass body with unprocessed trauma that's living in the body. But yeah, she wanted to put me on an antidepressant and a mood stabilizer because she thought that I might have bipolar. It's like, you don't even fucking know. And I did this mood diary for her to help determine if I had a mood disorder, like a bipolar thing. And I was the one that started to realize all my downward spirals were happening before my period. And, the hormones, it plays a part in our mood as females. And the psychiatrist did not once ask. My cycle was completely irrelevant in this. You might have bipolar narrative. It's just like, I can't, you guys, I can't. And I know this is just one psychiatrist, and I know there's ones that, but at the end of the day, I've always wanted to do the true healing and the therapy and stuff. But, well, I got confused because I thought the therapy was just, it's like, I gotta fix me and my fucked up body and whatever. And it's healing trauma. It's healing childhood trauma. So yeah, it's just sad. Yeah. So it's like, I'm 30, so it was different. I just remember trying to get through a job. And so that's why I went on to antidepressants. Like, I didn't know what else to do. I was like the antidepressants, when I ended up in the hospital from a really bad reaction to them, I was going on them to try to not lose another job. And it's just there. I don't know. I didn't have, I have coverage with therapy now. It's like, it's not affordable to a lot of people. I am very lucky to have coverage now in my life for the therapy that I'm doing, the somatic experiencing therapy, the body-centered therapy, with a therapist that is awesome, such cool vibes, and, you know, safe person. So for one thing, yeah, it's just like hard to even find the right person to do the therapy. Sometimes it's like we have a lot of people that are therapists that have not integrated their fucking shadow side, have too much ego going on, and they can just re-traumatize their patients. It's possible. It's, yeah. So there's that. But anyways, what I was saying, I was trying to get through this job. When I went on these antidepressants, like, I didn't, at the time, didn't feel like I had any other option. You know, I went to my doctor, and I did not at the time get referred way after, I guess after I ended up in the hospital and I was able to go to the clinic. I didn't know people could get access to that not having to go to the to be in the hospital. So I thought, oh, how do they get this referral? I don't know. It can be hard to be your own self-advocate, but especially now. So that was years ago, and now it's even worse. And I'm in Canada, and it's it seems to be like they have, yeah, they don't seem to expand. If anything, they seem to minimize the certain resources at times, like the public health funded resources. So the wait list is insane. You know, it took me, I think, 8 months to, after, when you're in the hospital, you're more, I guess, priority in a way, I think, how it was back then, at least. So then, but even that, it's like, it still was maybe 7-8 months till I was able to do this therapy at the clinic that had sniff. But it wasn't all bad. I forgot, I was doing group therapy as well. So they had a DBT, they had a dialectical behavioral group therapy. But I didn't have the best experience with my one-on-one counselor, and then I just got discharged without my knowing, and it was kind of shady the way that they just, and then it was like, you're on your own now, you know, and they just didn't say anything, and they discharged me even though I was enjoying the group therapy, because I didn't want to go to my one-on-one counselor. They, I guess, were able to just, you know, my group therapy hadn't started again, so it was on a bit of a break, and then they literally just completely took me off the books, and I tried to get back in and I couldn't. So, but I'm glad anyways that I went in this other direction of more, whatever it is we're fucking doing here. Okay, I think I want to go eat now, and I'm getting cold, and it is just getting very pondery, rambly, you know, which is fine. I'm gonna accept that. But I think it's just time to kind of, there's perfectionistic thoughts right now about how I just, you know, it was maybe going well, and then it started to go on these, I don't know, then it started to go in this direction, and then I ranted about the past, and then blah, blah. There's just like judgments right now about that I just want to fucking surrender, trying to fix, and let's just go with it. And I will see you in the next video. Okay, I'm ending it. Okay, bye.